Hello, I'm Jody Wolf. You're watching Expoz on August 24, 2015, and it's 2 a.m. Birmingham. And topic, what time is it? What time is it in the biblical sense of time? In our time period and in the time period of the Orthodox Jews, what time is it? Based on the Gregorian calendar, which is our calendar, or based on the Torah, their calendar, based on the way they kept time. And this is, or you can call it the Messiah Clock. But it's very confusing. And to me it is. It just blows me away trying to figure it out. But some of the key things is based on the 6,000 years in the Jewish calendar, and then the 1,000 years in the Hebrew calendar. They had to make all this tie together to get it exactly right, and they did. And the Jewish calendar year is 5775, and our calendar is 2015. The Messiah clock is one day, ours is 1,000 years, 12 hours, Messiah, half day, 500 years to us, 12 hours daylight. Messiah is 500 years to us, 1 hour, Messiah clock, 41 years, 8 months, or 500 months. 1 minute is 8 months and 10 days, and 1 second is a little over 4 days for us. So I hope you got all that. But the point is counting down and trying to figure out when the 7,000 year will begin. This will be the Sabbath year, leading up to the seventh 1,000 years left, in preparing for the Messiah to arrive so that he can be here and be in place on day one of that last 7,000 years. So when they put all their numbers together, back and forth, guess what we found out? Except for the time difference that we see and the time difference that they see, and we make an adjustment for a couple of times. When one time God made the day stand still for another 24 hours or another day to give daylight for the Jews to continue a battle to win, and then proof to another servant of God's that he meant his word, and he said, test me. And he says, okay, it's easy to move the clock forward. How about moving it backwards? So God moved it back. Well, this brought everything back in alignment. And that happened thousands of years ago. But what it comes down to, we're seeing signs after signs after signs that tell both sides we're in those days. We're in there. And one very specific, let me read you a couple of things. April 28, 2015, you'll be lost for words if you haven't made a decision. Whether you are Jewish or Christian, these are awesome times. Speaking of the very end days. One guy said these are the Tumka times. And these are the times down in South America, their times, everything lines up with them. And of course, back in 2012, we were expecting something, but that was just an end of their calendar. So we thought it was not an end of their calendar. It's just going on to another time. And but everyone says, Jesus is coming. Are you rapture ready? And simply, everybody says just you need to tell as many people as you can tell, because we are definitely running out of time. The Lord's coming, and He's coming soon. And again, when we get into the final blood moon, that is in everybody's mind, it seems like that is the ultimate end date. These headlines, the hands of God, or the hand of God, meteor strikes Iran in apparent divine judgment. And I read that a little bit ago, telling you in Genesis, he was doing the same thing to Sodom and Gomorrah and two other cities. The Messiah, the Jewish Jubilee and redemption, that chain is going to be broken. The upcoming blood moon to lead to messianic advancement. And then the recent Dead Sea earthquake ushering in the end of days prophecy. Guys, everything that everyone is talking about time-wise and year-wise, 5775, then ours, 2015 and 16, everything is there. When you count their time, they're counting from day one. There's no break between it. They didn't go to BC and get up to day one, and then like 1 AD, and Jesus died at 33 AD and so forth, and then the destruction of the temple at 70 AD. No, they just kept time from day one to now, and everyone is in alignment with one another, and everyone is coming to the same conclusion that the seventh 1,000-year period is about to begin. Regardless of all these battles out here that you see, regardless of the Psalm 83 war, regardless of the Ezekiel 38-39 war, regardless of the Battle of Armageddon, forget those things. They are happening in the end times, but that's not putting a date on the time of the beginning of the final 1,000 years, except the Battle of Armageddon. Well, we don't know that. We don't know the date. But let me tell you one thing that a lot of people don't know. Who specifically is going to be fighting in this Battle of Armageddon? It'll surprise you. You will have the Antichrist. You'll have a false prophet that entered into, or Satan that entered into the false prophet. So you have the false prophet, the Antichrist. And you have the religious leaders. So you have the Father, Son, Holy Ghost. The Trinity, just like we have. And they're all active. They're all busy. They're all trying to make things happen, but they're trying to kill as many as they can, and hopefully they will kill all the Jews. That's their main objective. If they can do that, then they can change God's plans for eternity. But it's not going to happen. So when you look at the Battle of Armageddon beginning, look at the end. That's the key point. But we can't tell 7 years in advance when that time is coming. But boy, by the signs of the times, we can tell the season in which Christ will return. Let me say one more thing and I'll get out, because I'm just about running out of time anyway. The final war will be evil, comprised of everyone who joined the side of the false prophet. Will fight against those who did not want to be taken over in the first place, and it just may be the kings of the East, and Russia might be with them. Jody with Expoz.